Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about 4 significant altcoins that I do believe are going to be a very solid buy point on this dip. So with that being said, hit that like button. It does help the channel grow immensely, and of course I always do greatly appreciate it. And let's just dive in. So these 4 altcoins I'm specifically going to be talking about are down significantly from their all-time highs or recent highs that they have made. These 4 specifically I've been eyeing for a while now, waiting for a solid entry point. Some of them I've taken a position on, and I'm going to be telling you guys about those and talking to you guys about them in depth. So with all of that in mind, let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. So obviously on the 24-hour span, we are seeing some nice bounce backs in the market, but almost all of the altcoins that I'm talking about in this video specifically are actually down still on the 7-day span significantly as well. Now, these 4, I've talked to you guys about them in the past slightly, but today I'm going to be talking to you guys about my entry points, my plans, and where I can foresee them by the end of this bull run. So let's just dive in, let's talk about it, and let's start with the number 1. So Zilliqa is one that I have been talking about for a while, ever since they did announce their Metopolis, but also even beforehand. In fact, I've talked to you guys about it ever since around January, around this range here, and we are in significant profit points on this from around the 4 to 3 cent range. Now, with this in mind, at this point of entry, we are entering in at around a massive demand zone that goes back as far as December of 2020. Now, as you guys do see, we hit an all-time high of roughly about 25 cents back then. If we go back to around that range and we go off of the price point that we are at currently from those all-time highs, we are still down about 70%. From our recent high down to where we are now, we are down roughly currently 66 or almost 67%. Let me get this perfectly on the point where we are now. So there we go, 67% roughly. Now, the reason why I foresee that this is actually going to be a solid buy point is because as we do continue to see the metaverse and, of course, NFTs and things like that go absolutely parabolic in terms of mass adoption, I foresee this actually being a very, very solid long-term gainer. Now, also, in regards to how high this actually could go, so I've been addressing the Fib levels on this one, specifically in regards to, where we could really foresee this going long-term and even short-term. So let me go down to the point. I'm not going off of scam wicks like this one that wick down as far as roughly 2.5 cents, because a lot of those are actually not logical. Like even these wicks back here, all the way down to roughly not even a cent. But as we do kind of see where we are now, even going off of the recent wave, if we're going off of the recent lows and the recent highs that we just currently made, we are still looking at some pretty good profit areas ahead. Specifically around that 51 to 55 cent range, I would say is a good time to kind of jump out of this. I know it could go to $1 plus, but at this point we're roughly at about a 560% to almost a 610% increase in price, which you're not getting that anywhere else. I mean, if you want to get extremely greedy, you could wait until 87 cents, which would be about 1,000% increase in price over a 10x opportunity. Or you could wait until 95 cents roughly, which would be a 1,100% increase in price. I'm more so kind of eyeing the 96.5 cent zone, which would roughly be at around almost this point up here, which would be almost a 10x opportunity exact. That's where I'm watching for closely. Of course, I would be taking some profit off of the table beforehand just to kind of de-risk myself. But I definitely foresee this having an incredible year ahead. I've seen some price targets being $1 to $2 in the all-time high range. But again, in my opinion, it doesn't really make sense to get extremely greedy on Zill when there's also other opportunities in this space. Profit is profit. Always make sure that you are taking it off the table when you do see it, because it helps de-risk yourself. Now, also XLM. So XLM is doing fairly well as well in terms of remittances, corridors launching around the world, as well as cross-border payments and CBDCs. I think XLM is a solid buy point at around this range. I think that this is a very low-risk entry point, especially when we go back in time. This is testing multi-year support all the way back to around December of 2017. When we talk about this to the all-time high recently, that we just made in around like the March, April timeframe of 2021. We know that this would be roughly about like 374% off of the all-time high back in 2017. This would be about a 453% increase in price. Now, let's talk about this. So, if we break out and we start to have that massive rally similar to like the 2017-2018 timeframe, we could actually hit some pretty nice highs, specifically around the range of like $2 to $4 in that range. Now, of course, we can go off of the high points of like $4 plus. Just to play this safe, though, I would say watch for a point here, which would be like 1,310% of an increase in price to about $2.40 to possibly like $3.30, which would be an 1,800% of an increase in price. Like I said, if you want to get really greedy, you can wait until the 4,236 and the 4,618, which would be 2,100, almost 2,200 to about roughly 2,400% of an increase in price. Again, perfect entry point in my opinion, as it is testing multi-year support. This one is the last to move, similar to 2017-2018. This topped out around January after a lot of other altcoins went off, so maybe you can kind of keep this one in the back end, or you can take an entry point now. It's totally up to you. Again, always do your own research when you are entering into a lot of these positions. And also KDA. So Kadena or KDA has been one that I've been eyeing very, very closely, as it is testing the support range all the way back to October of 2021. This did do a significant run to about $28. We are down roughly right now 87.61% off of this range here. If we go to the all-time high yet again, it would be a 710% of an increase in price off of these lows. And like I said, with us testing, that October timeframe support, right before we went off, I think that this is going to be one that is going to surprise a lot of people. In fact, at about $3.7, I think that this could run to possibly $37 for that 10x opportunity. Again, the fib levels off of this look very, very good. I've been eyeing this because the next fib level would actually take us well beyond a 10x opportunity. In fact, this would be about an 11.5x opportunity at around 1,156% of an increase in price. Again, I'm trying to go off of like the 2414, which would be about a 17x off of these lows, which in my opinion is a very, very solid point in my opinion. In terms of ROI, this is very incredible. But of course, this could run to a roughly $68 figure in general. If you want to go off of like the high end, if you want to get very greedy with this. Now, again, the reason why I show you KDA is because it's actually one of the highest losers right now in the 7-day span, sitting at, I don't even know what number this is in terms of like the rankings, but I know it's sitting at number 94 at about a $633 million market cap. Now, mind you, not all of the tokens are released. There's actually 1 billion in terms of total supply. There's only 17% out there. Just make sure that you are doing your research before you jump into something like this. But of course, like I've said, if this does do that similar run, I think that this could run pretty hard. I don't know if it's going to hit the $100 plus range, but if we do something like Solana, then it is something that could happen. But again, Solana to KDA, the circulating supply is a little bit different. I would say if we could hit like ADA's market cap, that would be something pretty interesting to watch for. But again, I do think that this is a significant point to really kind of enter in. I wouldn't get too greedy with your entry points. Like, I'm looking for 10x's along the boards, and a 10x opportunity on this would only take us to about roughly like $37, which is below our 1618. Of course, like I said, this could outreach even further. So definitely watch this one closely. And last but not least, so this one is one that I was actually in during 2021. I was actually in on the ground floor level at around this point here. It was roughly like 30 to 35 cents that I was buying in before this almost did a 10x opportunity. Now, like I said, off of the lows to the high end here, the fib levels are looking pretty solid. But also, if we look at how far this is down from its all-time highs, you can see that this is down over 90%. This is essentially in a bear market, if you think. So this is a solid entry point, as it is down massively, testing multi-year, or I shouldn't even say multi-year, but yearly support ranges going back to January of 2021. Off of this low end, if this does repeat that process to go to the all-time high yet again, which in my opinion a lot of these altcoins will, this is almost a 10x opportunity. But like I said, those fib outreaches could take this as high as like $4.68, which would be a 16x opportunity off of these lows. And again, if you want to get really greedy, you guys could go and look at the 2414. But with graph being already at number roughly, I think it's like in the 30s from what I've seen. Or actually, no, it got pushed down even further. So I believe that this is at number 58, sitting at about a $1.4 billion market cap. So yeah, this could easily run up the numbers into the $4 plus range, but I would more so be taking some profit points at around like this area here between like the or the $4.68 to roughly like the 10x opportunity of like $3. The only reason why I say that is because there is better opportunities in this market than graph. I just think that from the overall 90% drop, I think that this is going to have a nice recovery basis on it. Definitely watch for the scalps on this one because this one could have a nice run ahead. So with that in mind, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are on this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.